Hey guys, Level Cap here. Today we're back with some Ironsight content. If you missed my first Ironsight video, it was called Free FPS Done Right. And I stand by that statement. This is a free-to-play first-person shooter on the PC, and it's done right in that it doesn't use a pay-to-win economy to give players an advantage who want to spend some money. You can certainly spend your cash on some cosmetic items or perhaps unlock some cool custom versions of guns quickly, but all of these weapons are very, very attainable. In fact, there's so many early game rewards that you can use some of the timed unlocks, which don't cost a lot of money, to test out a gun for a day, and then if you want to, you can spend your hard-earned in-game currency on new weapons that you really like. And that's kind of what I focused on a bit for this video, is figuring out which guns I like the most. If you guys want to check out the game for yourself, there's a link in the video description, and thank you to Ironsight for sponsoring this video. First things first though, I was a little bit cosmetically inspired this time around to show some patriotism. And the game has definitely got some patriotic options on board. Whether you like the look of them or not is really up to you, but ultimately I was able to create what I envision as Captain Murica over here with his painted up M4 and some pretty cool looking armor. Now these are some of the cosmetic items that will cost you some real world money to get, but they do come with some cool custom stuff like this awesome M4 reload, which you can't get on any of the other M4s. Now the game has a fairly impressive variety of weapons. I would say if you're into modern guns and modern weaponry or favorite guns from other video games, chances are it's in this game. And for the most part, if you really like a gun aesthetically, you can probably make it work for you in game. I really like the M4 aesthetically. Obviously, I love this camo, but I wasn't sure how it actually stacked up to the other weapons. There's definitely minutia in the weapon balance and what other players are preferring or what game modes favor certain weapons over others. And so I started reading up a bit, and I came across a lot of people saying that the AR-57 is probably one of the safer investments. Not necessarily the best gun for all situations or scenarios, but it's an awesome run and gun weapon, and there's certainly a lot of running and gunning in this fast-paced shooter. Now, for those of you who don't know much about the AR-57, it might look like some sort of futuristic video game gun that's based off of an M4 design. It's actually a real weapon that does exist. And what it does is it combines the M4 platform with the P90 magazines and ammo types, which is really interesting because it means the shell ejection actually comes through the bottom of the mag well. Instead of feeding ammo up through the bottom of the M4, you're now feeding it down through the top. And it's 5.7 rounds that the P90 fires, which are some pretty interesting rounds. It definitely turns the M4 into more of an SMG platform, and it's freaking awesome in game. It has 50 rounds just like the P90 does, and in game it actually has pretty similar statistics to the actual P90. But this thing's a beast. As long as you're in medium to close range combat, it can absolutely tear people apart. It's clearly not designed for extremely long range combat, but you've got so much ammo and so much damage output at close and medium range that you don't really need to worry about those long range targets. Make them come to you. Here I'm playing a round of Domination on the map Titan, which is an ICBM launch facility, high-tech, very cool. Perfect place to have a firefight when missiles are going off in the background. Why not? And I gotta say the AR-57 was perfect for this map. Great for sort of domination point control. Even overlooking domination points, I was able to cover my team really well. And it just has enough ammo to deal with the first target and the follow-up target, and maybe even another one after that before you really need to reload. Definitely don't want to push it out too far in terms of range, but as you can see, the hip fire is more than adequate. Got a little laser sight on here and a cool optic. You could certainly run it without the optic if you didn't want to and mess around with the recoil control or some different attachments. There's plenty of attachment options in this game for tweaking a weapon's performance more to your liking. You can do things like extended mags, rifled barrels, and other things like that, plus the perk system, which allows you to have quiet footsteps or fast reload, all that sort of stuff. I definitely worked on a class that was quiet footsteps and faster reload eventually for the AR-57, which ended up working out a little bit better for this weapon platform. Now, I definitely stand by the notion that the AR-57 is an excellent first purchase of a weapon. It's pretty versatile in general, but it is designed a bit more to deal with the more chaotic game modes, ones where you're expecting to see a lot of people close quarters and multiple targets, fast-moving game modes. On some of the strategic game modes or maybe maps that favor long-range shooting, it's definitely going to fall behind some of its competitors. So I used a little bit of my in-game currency and tested out the Scar H, which was also a heavily recommended weapon. It's slow firing just like the real Scar H, but heavy hitting with a standard 20-round magazine. Ultimately, I did upgrade the weapon and used the extended mag to bump it to 25 rounds, which was pretty fun. You can also throw a fast reload on there if you really want to, but this is an awesome, fun assault rifle, and you can kind of tap fire, burst fire at range to do some extra damage. It's not like the ultimate long-range weapon that still belongs to the sniper rifles, but it is a nice change up, and it's still got some pretty decent hipfire accuracy for close range damage. I also just love the look of the Scar H in general. It comes in tan, or if you want to spend a little extra money, you can get some cool camos for it, but it looks and performs as I would expect it to in this game. So those two purchases right at the start are some excellent versatile weapons. I still love the M4 too. Honestly, a lot of the weapons are similarly balanced so that you can sort of find a mixture between close and medium range, favor more long range, favor more close range, but I gotta say between the AR-57 and the Scar H, those are two excellent options. Even the M4 itself is still an excellent gun. Alternating between those guns was really fun, and it does take a while to rank up some of the weapons and get some of the higher level attachments, so sometimes it makes a little more sense to focus on one or two weapons at the start rather than trying to unlock as many guns as possible. You'll probably start unlocking some better higher level attachments, refining your gameplay, starting to play around with things like silencers and things to give you a few more tactical options, and you can really hone in your skills with one particular rifle. Now, since my last Ironsight video, which was about 4 months ago, there's been some significant changes to the game. It is an open beta, and I imagine the devs are still going to continue to make lots of significant changes post-beta phase. There's been a lot of cool new cosmetic items added to the game, obviously, so if you're hungry to unlock and progress and get cool new items to show off your character, there's that. But also this cool new drone shield here, which is blocked off an area of the map that can be used strategically now. A lot of the kill streaks before were for offensive style drones, but now this one here gives you some cool strategic options when playing on domination style game modes, or other game modes for that matter. You also now have the option to set up passworded custom games, so you can have clan battles and clan matches, as many of the game modes are very strategic, and you can use some of these more strategic drones now in interesting ways, which is really cool. So the competitive scene is basically getting underway. If you want to have some strategic gameplay or just some fun matches against your friends, that can be set up. And there's also a little bit more time in between rounds now to customize your loadout, unlock things, go through loot crates that you might have earned or different items that you might have earned at the end of rounds. I'm still very impressed by the developers' approach to this game here because they're very liberal with the in-game currency. A lot of other games make you work like hours and hours, like 20 hours to like unlock a gun, or like just putting in tons and tons of time with very little reward. But in this game, I was able to play for several hours and unlock enough currency to unlock a new gun permanently. Or I could play for even less time and unlock a gun for 24 hours to test it out and see if I want to spend the cash to unlock it permanently. So they give you a lot of flexibility. If you don't have a huge amount of time to play, you can still test out weapons easily. If you want to save up, it doesn't take all that long to unlock a new weapon. And I never once felt like anybody spending money in this game had a significant advantage over me. I was topping the scoreboards quite a bit while I played, and I really only have a few weapons unlocked still. And so that's just really cool, really nice to see. Anyway, if you're thinking about trying out this game, again, it's free on PC. I would highly recommend maybe using some of your early currency on an AR-57, a Scar H, maybe an M4. People also really seem to like the AK guns in-game. But I think you'll have a lot of fun using those to start off with, and then maybe explore a bit further or branch out as you start to refine your gameplay. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.